about to go downtown.
Downtown Kay.
Downtown. You about to go downtown.
Hi, lovely. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Amazing. You look spectacular.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Your pictures do not do you justice. So
Oh, okay. Now you're just being nice.
I'm not. I'm really not. I don't have time to gas nobody. I was just saying to everyone, you know, I do have the privilege of speaking to people from all over the world, but I go hard for my city. So I'm really excited to get to speak with you tonight and everyone to get to know you a bit better.
Vice versa.
So if it's okay with you, Kastilla, it's okay if we rock out to your music for a little bit?
Yes. What? Is it okay? First off, you're a baddie. We got to do it. We got to start off the vibes, right?
Let's go. Like
A little music video in the bedroom.
why not? Let's go.
Hey, hello.
Dude, the whole makeup beat got done to this. Like, it's just such a fucking vibe. Like, what inspired this
Thank
track
you.
bad? Like, it's quite
This
it's quite
energy.
but like, just energy.
Honestly,
like,
just energy and just having confidence, feeling myself in the studio, being around like other empowering women and just the way we talk. I don't know, so many like lifestyle things. Yeah, vibe.
I like the way you put that lifestyle.
Yeah, just
thing.
yeah.
Funny enough today, because they just recently announced that Remy Ma will be doing an episode of Drink Champs. Love her, you know? And
Love
a lot
her.
of us grown up, you know, if you love rap, you know about Remy Ma. And
For
I was
sure.
listening to the track Conceited and alternating between Bad, you know?
Right.
And I was, man, like we possibly got another anthem.
You're actually reading my mind because if you guys know, I do Freestyle Fridays. And why is that in my selection to do? Because again, it's energy. It's the same type of vibe that she was on with that track. It's the same vibe. It's just feeling yourself and just knowing like, yeah, I freaking feel myself. Like that's the vibe, you know?
And I love that. And it being Women's Month, it's so important that we have these anthems still. And it's like, we like to feel good about ourselves. We want to feel confident. We want to tell a nigga, yo, unless it's this, like, it's not cutting it. And
Right.
it's a whole energy, like you said. It's the best way to describe it. And, you know, as someone behind the scenes, it was just beautiful to have that feeling, to get ready to. It totally got me in the mood for today. And it's definitely on my playlist. Like, no questions asked.
Yeah, that's the energy that I wanted to receive back, you know? Obviously, it's more like a woman's track, you know? So, yeah, I definitely want you to be getting ready, feeling yourself with your girls, busting the dance, you know?
Yeah.
That's the vibes.
This has a lot of radio play and a lot of replay value, for sure.
So,
Was that something you were, like, mindful of creating this track?
honestly, when I go in to create tracks, I just go in with, like, I kind of, like, go in with what's on my mind. So maybe that day I was being a little spicy. Maybe I looked good at the studio. I wasn't being all, like, bummish. I usually go with the flow. So it wasn't intentional, honestly. So that's a good thing, I guess.
No, it was a great thing. I really see this going much further maybe than even you expect.
Right.
You know? So I'm going to ask you, like, were you in the studio writing this record? Or were you, like, in the mirror?
Yeah, it was recorded and written in the studio, like, the same night. Yeah.
Jeez.
I know.
Jeez.
I didn't even go in for, like, a second time to record it. Like, I just, from that night. Yeah, I just did it. So funny. Okay, with the sound.
Let me find out, because Kastilla's on one take down out here.
Tried it. Honestly, though, for most times, I would go back in, like, a couple times, you know, to studio, like, whatever, you know, try to perfect my craft. But for this one, I didn't. I felt like it, you know, it was like I felt the vibe. Like I wasn't like, oh, I have to change this line, I have to change this line. Like I was just like, yeah, I already had demo-itis. You know, once they mix and master, it sounds a little bit different, you know? So it's already on the demo-itis, so Yeah, it
No,
was
definitely there was no bar wasted at all. Like you had put on the gas the whole record, and I
oh,
really
thank
do
you.
appreciate that because sometimes as well when we hear these captivating beats, like the beat's so good you get carried away, but you didn't let it overtake you. Like
Right,
you
right,
really
right, right.
are heavy in this record, so I appreciate that.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
So I'm a bit of a nerd, Kastilla, so I had to go deep dive and just go through your whole catalog because I understand we're celebrating bad today, but like, I love to really just dig into the mindset of the artist.
Okay.
And I'll tell you one of my personal favorites from you, which is kind of not the opposite of that, but it's more of your singing
Right.
side,
Okay.
drama. Love
Ooh,
that record.
yes. Yep. I love drama. It's like a soft but like still savage.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
What that
Hmm.
like bring to mind? What was your mindset when you wrote that record? Like, where were you at in life?
It's still that same kind of energy. It's like this one, just like I'm not taking your shit because I know myself. Like you can't call yourself bad and not know yourself, you know? So it's just like, yeah, I'm not. You have to know your standards and like, what you're gonna allow and not allow. And like that song was, like I said, it sounds sweet, but I'm actually basically saying like I'm good with that. I'm just gonna do me. Like I'm gonna just focus on myself and better myself, like I've been doing.
1,000%. And honestly, that's like such a beautiful point, especially growing through womanhood and being
Right,
able to get that confidence for yourself. I know a lot of women, especially tuning in here tonight, they can relate, whether it's a breakup that triggered it or
right.
like parental issues, whatever the case may be. And it was just like, you know what? Like, I am worth it. I'm not like going this route anymore. I'm a bad bitch. Like,
Right.
that's
You have
that.
to always just like remember, like regardless of the situation, like you have to have yourself. You know what I mean? You have to always be working towards yourself. Working towards your goals, regardless if you're dating, breaking up, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You still have to make sure that you're like always in a good mental place as a woman. So I'm always there. Yeah,
Awesome.
always.
I love that. I love that. We're gonna get into it. So I love to know where did you start singing? Like, were you at home? Was it like a certain environment that you grew up in that you were like it kind of ignited that feeling
That
for you
like
to
brought
start?
singing to me. Yeah, so I started singing at church. Honestly, like my cousins brought me to church. I would just sing. The other ladies in the church, the sisters, would be like, "Oh, you should sing." And one day I had to do like everybody had to sing, and I guess the lady chose me, and I had to go on stage and I had to perform, and I was nervous at first, but then I really loved it. I was like, you know what? I actually really like music. I started doing choirs at school. I started making up music videos. I started making my friends record me, like, outside on the fence. I was just doing, like, little stuff, like, I
Sure.
just knew I liked it. I don't know. It grew on me because before church, I never thought I would ever do music. It's kind of weird. Like,
No, it's
I
not
never
weird
even
at
thought
all.
about music.
Yeah. It's not weird at all because, it's an environment where a lot of us as Black children can relate to going, whether it was through our aunties and uncles, or grandparents,
Right.
a church time. So
Oh,
it
okay.
was definitely a
Mhm.
pastime for a lot of us. And it's like clearly going through your about yourself. Like you are a very talented individual and you do have a special gift. So I am proud of you for sticking it through and
Thank
continuing.
you.
Please don't stop.
I appreciate that.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Seriously.
being an artist, it's a grind. Like it's about the people around you. It's about how you think, and it's like it's not going to be easy. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. So that's what I'm saying. It's like crazy. I jumped into this career choice, but it just felt right. The
Yeah.
leap of faith
No,
sometimes
1,000%.
unorthodox.
1,000%. So I'm gonna ask you a surface level question, I guess, in a sense. What is like your background, would you say? Because I know from Toronto, like yes, a lot of us are from Toronto, but like my family background is Jamaican on both sides. So what would you say like your like family background or your mix of
Yeah, so my dad's British Jamaican, my mom's Japanese French, but I'm born in Toronto. I grew up in Toronto, like Peel region. Then I moved to Toronto.
so
So
that's
Canadian
amazing.
mixed,
It's
little
a
bit of
beautiful blend up.
everything.
It's a beautiful blend up. How many times do people
Oh,
try to like
yeah.
compare to Sweetie?
People guess the ethnicity.
No, how many times do like people try to compare you to like Sweetie, the artist?
Oh, all the time.
I felt like it, right? I was like,
Honestly, though, I don't take it as like a bad. Sorry, it's like disconnecting.
beautiful.
I
No,
don't take it as like a bad thing. Like, she's beautiful. Like, hey, being compared to any woman that's like a boss babe is dope. So I don't really care.
1000%. And I definitely like I could see the similarities, but I just thought I would ask you because I could see that being something in the future as you continue to grow. People are like gonna possibly like say that, and I'm like, let me ask you if you've ever heard it, or am I crazy?
Hey, maybe it can like play off one day and I do like a dope song with her or something. And it's like a little,
Let's manifest that. It's going to
you
happen.
know?
It's definitely going to happen,
Yeah.
right? What was it like, growing up for you? So you said you started singing in the church. Were your mother and father like always supportive, or like was it more one parent than the other?
I mean, I think my parents thought it was going to kind of be like a phase, I guess, but it wasn't a phase. And then, eventually they're like, yeah, we really believe in what you're doing. Like, we know you're a star. Like, my family looks at me like I'm like the star of the family. I don't know. They're like, we're very supportive. They're like, you're a star. You know what? We're not going to doubt your intuitions and your feelings that you're having. Go get it. So, yeah, they're very supportive.
That's dope because to this day, I feel like my mom doesn't even know the name of my business. And we're like,
You have to put her on. Put her on. Sis.
They do, but it's like, I don't know, she's like traditional Jamaican Christian. So it's just like, sometimes I just feel like they're just in their own like world. Like when I explain to her, oh yeah, I do like podcasting and blogging. It's just like doctor, lawyer, like what is that?
Yeah, she's like, huh? Aw, you know what? I think like you just need to like literally physically show her, like sit her down, be like, this is like some things I've done. Like she'll definitely be interested and be so proud of you. There's like no doubt in my mind.
1000, thank you. When I do like more reggae artists, like I know when I interviewed I-Octane, shout out to him. Like she was more familiar with like those things, so she was like, all right, well, let's see if funded. I was like, yeah,
right.
That was me.
She's like, yeah, I get that. I know. I'm familiar now. Yeah.
Is that something that like weighs heavy for you? Like I know, for some people, we go through certain things or just like whatever. Like family sometimes isn't like the number one support for us. Is that something that's like very meaningful for you, or is it like?
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I'm so happy there's support rather than no support. But I even feel I'm like kind of like I'm kind of like a soldier kind of. I'm just like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. That's how I always am. So even with like in the past, like friends not supporting or people you think are your friends not supporting, I don't get like, I'm not mad. I just kind of like soldier it out. I'm kind of just like, it's crazy how sometimes people you don't know could be your supporters too. You have to look at the good, right? So the good is that there's other supporters. So hey, if your family didn't support or your friends didn't support, there'll be other supporters. And that's how I think about it.
1000%.
I'm grateful that they do support.
Yeah. No, I totally get that, and it's just like same thing. It's like, but a lot of the times it's like when you're coming up in your business and you would expect that it would be the people that you know first that heavily like support you. It'd be complete strangers you never met in your life that are like riding for you harder sometimes until everybody catches up.
That's what always seems to happen. Or it's like your very close like gang friends of like group of friends that will be the supporters, but then the other like bystander kind of friends or just like other groups of friends won't be. You know what I mean? So then it'll be strange.
And also coming from Toronto, you definitely know about that feeling and just like the crabs in a barrel kind of mentality. I feel like we all kind of have to go through. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
What would you, if you could like just describe your experience coming up in the Toronto music scene and, really getting to, get your footing, and we're still growing and there's always opportunities, but a lot of people complain there's no opportunities or this person's hating. What is your experience been like in the Toronto music scene?
I honestly, it's just about putting yourself out there. So people, when they don't put themselves out there, they're not going to see any results. That's why they act like that, right? It's not about just Toronto. It's in general. You need to put yourself out there in every way, being in person, being like on social media, engaging with other people. You can't just expect people to be like, so supportive of you and you're never showing anything back, because that's what a lot of people freaking expect. It's so weird.
Exactly. Like you have to
It's not
put
just Toronto.
you have to put that pride and ego to the side and like yeah, 1000%. So I want to get into more of like your R&B side, right? Because I think that's kind of where you started with your music,
Yeah,
and then gravitated more towards like hip hop, and now you're
yeah,
doing like perfect blend. I love it in
yeah.
between.
I'm
What
not
is
putting myself in like a box. It's just
I
making
realize
music. If I hear a fire R&B beat when I walk in the studio, I'm gonna lay something down. If I hear a fire hard trap beat, I'm gonna lay something down, because I go off like my mood, like I told you before. It's kind of just like, I'm not going in there like, oh, I'm gonna write a rap song. No, I'm like,
yeah,
I can sing and I can rap, and I'm confident in both. So I'm gonna do whatever feels right.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So R&B, right? The R&B side of Castilla. What like inspires that side the most? Like what kind of, if you can describe like the kind of beats, or just what kind of helps to put you in that R&B zone? Because you have
Okay.
a beautiful singing voice.
Thank you
It's
so
not
much.
too powerful. It's not too quaint. It's
Mhm.
just like, and I still feel like you're holding back a lot of notes or not showing your full range.
Right. I get told a lot I have a good tone. So like
Yeah.
I'm always like trying to play with my tone when I'm singing, and that's like my biggest thing. But what puts me in the mood, like you asked, regarding like making R&B music, I grew
Mm-hmm.
up like my dad used to play classics. Like I grew up on like Mary J. Blige, Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey. And then I was getting older, like finding music myself. I grew up on like Keisha Cole, Ashanti, Maya. So I always grabbed inspirations on my R&B side from those ladies. And yeah, just trying to, it's about a feeling, right, for R&B. So that's kind of what I would always be captivated with, because I felt something when I listened to it. So yeah,
No,
definitely.
I really do love that, because especially nowadays, I feel like even finding the right beat, it just, not that I'm an artist, but like just being around a lot of artists or seeing, kind of what they have to go through, it's like it feels kind of gimmicky in a sense. Like it's gonna say Gunna type beat or Weekend type beat.
Hmm.
It's nothing where you can just like, I hardly doubt when Tony Braxton or someone wrote Breathe that it had like, like those bangers that we know,
Right.
those classics. So it's just like, do you find it hard to select beats or find original sounding beats these days?
So I find it hard. I wouldn't say hard, but I am like kind of picky. So yeah, like honestly, YouTube's your best friend. I always say YouTube's my best friend. Go on YouTube and type in even your favorite song. Like sometimes like other beats pop up like that, just to give you like an idea of what kind of beats you like, right? So like
Yeah,
me starting out, when I didn't have like a producer or have a couple people that I can go to or what I worked with, I would use YouTube all the time and just, like I said,
yeah.
type in my favorite artist or type in the favorite song I like, and just look around and find things like that. So
No, I love that. And you here at Downtown World, we say eat fruit and mind your business. And
yeah.
they eat
Period.
fruit, period. Fruit being like for the physical, it keeps the skin going, the yoni good, all the things. And
Right.
fruit is all meaning like that spiritual, that knowledge. So you're just giving some good, amazing fruit tonight.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people, I feel like they overcomplicate the process, and sometimes it's not that difficult.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I agree. 100%.
So if you could speak on your experience, being mentored by someone like Steve Lobel.
Oh, so dope. Just like he's a goat, right? So
Yeah.
even just having guidance from, someone like that is awesome, right? Like, can't go wrong. But it's about what you do with, the information and the guidance that you're given, right? So that's like the key thing for me. But yeah, definitely a blessing. Like,
If you could, if you could share without giving too much away, uh, maybe one of your like top takeaways from being mentored with him, or even your experience like being mentored with Prem. I know this is so bad because I'm so used to seeing P Rain. I know that's like showing my age, even though
Mhm.
I know it's Prem.
Right.
But it's like growing up from the city, you know. But
Yeah.
I respect it. I respect it. Like, just what are your top takeaways from being mentored by like such amazing people from the city and have a lot of like experience in the music industry?
Think just being consistent and just staying in, like, just knowing yourself, like finding your pocket, being like always aware of your message that you're sending out and your brand. Those are like kind of the key things. So consistency, message, brand, and just, yeah, like, and just owning it, you know what I mean? Like, you can't half-ass this music stuff. Like, it's either, you can't have one foot in, one foot out. This, it has to be like 100% of or nothing. So yeah, that's just, it's just like, yeah, taking it as seriously as possible and being as consistent as possible, and quality, right? Not just like doing shit to do shit.
1000%. You know what I love about you, Castilla, that I'm realizing through our conversation is like you're very sweet. Don't get me wrong, but had but you had this like alpha energy about you that I really fuck
Mhm.
with. I really
Yeah.
do fuck with. And I feel like people may mistake you and take you for like a cute face a lot, but I
Hmm.
can definitely see like you don't play. And I love when you tapped into that mode and you're like, can't be one foot in, one foot out. You gotta be serious, like
Facts though.
consistency. Yeah.
Yo, everyone thinks I'm just this like cute, pretty girl, but I'm like very about my business, and I've taken time to like learn the business. This is called the music business, and I'm a
Yeah.
black female as of that. You know what I mean? So it's like I need to know just how to move, how to carry myself, how to talk, how to be, because it's not. You know what I mean? It's not going to be easy.
At
So
all.
I think my biggest thing, like elephant in the room, is like, oh, I have to get past this. Like, she's just this pretty girl. It's like, yo.
Yeah.
But once people have a conversation with me, they're like, oh, shoot, you're actually like, you're
Yeah.
actually on your shit. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
on my shit.
And
So it's
can you
funny that you
speak
said that.
on no, I definitely respect that. I get that energy from you, and that's why I was so excited for people to get to know you better today because I definitely sensed that about you. And I was like, this girl is not just a pretty face. She knows what the fuck she's talking about. She's learning and she's on her business. Seriously.
Period. And vice versa, girl, because you kill and you about your business too. And I get, it's like you said, it's kind of like alpha, but it's also just like a confidence that, like, I wanted to get into that. Like, being a baddie is, that's kind of just being a baddie. It has nothing to do with, what you
1000.
necessarily look like, or if you're slim, thick, or if you're freaking whatever body of a goddess. It's more like how you carry yourself, your mindset, your energy, the way you move, which that's really what it is. You know what I mean? Like, bad, for instance, stands for bold, ambitious, determined. It's not about bad bitch. Yeah, we're a bad bitch because of the way we move,
Yeah.
right? The way you move makes you a baddie. You know what I'm trying to say?
Please school them. Like give them all the
Yeah.
fruit because like there's so many young women, young people out there that like they feel like it's just all this and I'm like, bro, like when you find you can probably get into the room off your looks, but when you open up your mouth, like you
Right.
really want to know what you're talking about and have sense and you don't want people to take advantage of you as much as possible. So it's very important to know yourself and be grounded within
And then I couldn't have said it better.
that.
Thank you
um
very
You spoke on it and hinted on it a little bit. So I'll ask you, like, if you could speak on consistency, right? I know it's a common theme and some people are bored by it, but like when I tell them like it really
much. Say
is
that one more
about
time. If I couldn't hear you, sorry, the phone cut
no
out. Speak
problem,
on what?
consistency and how like
Oh,
important
consistency.
that is in this music business. Like because a
Right.
lot of people they find it repetitive or boring when people say that. But I honestly, even in my experiences, feel like that's like one of the main things. What would you say about that? Consistency.
Yeah, consistency, of course, is important. It also just kind of determines on, if you're talking about specifically for an artist, are you talking about
Yeah.
consistency? Oh, yeah, for an artist, yeah, it kind of depends on, being an artist is not easy, right? And doing things, like, you have to have a team. So your consistency is going to make a play on who's around you, team you have, because again, unless you think you can literally do everything yourself and be as consistent as you want to be with quality and, you know, proper structure and standards, it's going to be hard to be consistent. So that's where it gets tough. It just depends on what your what am I trying to say, like what your standards are to your consistency, if you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You have to be consistent. Yeah, you have to be consistent regardless. That's just the main thing, right? So in every way, not just one thing, consistent on just one thing. I'm consistent on every scale. Like every couple months there's a new platform coming out, right? You have to make sure as an artist you're on top of your Triller, your TikTok, your Instagram, your Spotify, Apple, all these things. You have to be consistent on all platforms, not just music, right? Because to me, music, it's not just like selling. Well, for me, as a type of artist I am, it's not just selling my music. Like, I'm selling myself. I'm selling my brand 24/7. So with me, consistency has to be on literally all fields, right?
Cecilia, tonight you're talking that talk, so like I just hope they're really receiving what you're saying and how heavy everything you're saying is, because
Right.
a lot of people think, even people, let's say, that have the bag or have the bread,
Right.
and they'd be like, oh, I can pay you 20 stacks to do this or 10 stacks to do this, and it's like, great, but or, oh, I have this amazing song, can anyone hear how amazing my music is? And I was like, bro, that's not enough. That's like 5 to 10% of the shit. It's who you
Music
know,
business.
how you're going about. Tell them again.
Music business, baby.
I like those perfectly. So let's get into some fun things. Or before I do that, a standard question that we do ask all of our guests here at Downtown World, it does stand for don't waste no time with negativity, right? But I'd love to know, thank you. I'd love to know, what is a time or a situation where like no questions asked, it was negative, but somehow, some way, you found a way, you might have even surprised yourself, but you did not waste any time with negativity.
Sorry, I need you to say that one more time. So you said, when was there a time that you could have basically made
It was definitely like a negative situation. No
yeah.
questions asked. But you, yourself, you surprisingly, or maybe not, I don't know, you chose not to waste any time with negativity.
I feel like this happened to me a lot because people be trying to come in there and mix up selves. But let me get this. Okay, hold on.
So take your time, because they be trying me, girl. They be like, trying me, and then they be like, but your platform says don't waste no time with negativity.
But obviously, I'm thinking right now because we've all been on lockdown, so we haven't even been outside like that too tough. But
yeah,
even a lady, the smallest thing, I was in Healthy Planet the other day picking up my pre-workout because I'm a baddie and I need my pre-workout, whatever. This lady, there's a line, but you know the line, like, it gets spread into two basically at this point.
Yeah.
So this lady, I let this one lady go ahead of me because she's with her mom. I'm like, you know what, you guys go ahead. This other lady comes after I've been standing where I've been standing. And then the person says next. I walk up and this lady's trying to make a scene at me. I said, holy, I'm not even going to say nothing today. I said nothing. I just said, you know what? Paid my bill and I left. She's trying to go off and make a scene about asking the people, where's the line? Where's the line? Oh, was she on? I was like, why are we even talking about this? Like, we're literally at the cash at the same time at this time. It's like when people are butting for the green light, like, and then it turns, like, where are you guys going? The light's about to turn red. Like, you guys, it's the same. That's the same feeling I got with the store. I was like, I'm gonna say nothing.
1000%. And you know that happens. I feel like, especially during this like whole panini and everything, I feel like that happened more than often. Like, bro, the signs are right there, like,
not that serious,
right in front of your face, and like clearly you already let someone in front. Like, stop trying me, lady.
It's
like,
not that serious.
It's like,
me, I'm a person that just like brushes things off that are not that serious. Like a lot of things are just not worth like even giving your good energy to.
1000%.
That's
and
how
like,
I feel.
even a lot of celebrities, they share stories where it's just like, because I definitely see that happening for you more and more than it is now, you know. And they share a lot of stories where people will literally say something negative on purpose just to get your attention and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't fucking mean it. Like, I love you. I would never mean it. I'm like, weird.
Yeah, that's when they're really asking and reaching for attention. You know, though. You know. Yeah.
Is that something you learned like really early on, just how to lead people better? Or is that something that you feel like you're still tapping into as you move forward? Because we know in this music business, there's a lot of fake people. There's a lot of fakeness,
Oh,
you know.
yeah, for sure. Honestly, my whole motto, whatever, is just treating people how I want to be treated. So, you
Amen.
know, I hope it works out most of the times. And like in my case, it has. But like,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I just go into everything. I just show everybody respect and just hope for it in return until they give me a reason to like either no longer have to speak to them or just no longer, you know, show respect.
1000%. I agree with that. And I feel like because when you like as a genuine person, you know, it's like I'm not like you said it perfectly. I'm not gonna let someone's like evil spirits or negative attitude
Right.
bring me out of my character and who I actually am. Even though sometimes it really is tempting, very
Right.
tempting.
You can't. I always tell even my friends like don't ever let anything dictate your energy. Like you can't do that. Like that's not how things work, right? If you were to literally do that all the time,
Yeah,
you'd be having people dictate your energy 24/7.
1000%.
You can't. Like, you have to just do you.
So I see that you had the privilege of working with cinematographer Jordan Oram, you know? And funny story,
Ooh,
I
yeah.
remember meeting him one time where like I can actually like remember. And
Mhm.
his conversation, like literally, I kid you not, girl. His conversation was that he is going to work with Jake, like Drake. He was affirming it. He was like, it's gonna happen. I'm right there. And no lie, girl.
He's
Unless
a
the man
Scorpio, by the way. He
is
has that same. Mhm.
okay.
They got
And
friend. They got my
literally,
friend right now, Jordan.
literally in like I want to say it was like not even a month or two. I seen God's plan, and I was like, no way. Like this man said it and he did it. Like for
Crazy.
real, for real.
Mhm.
So what was it like for you working with him and just knowing his story and now we see like his resume growing more and more and he's really getting I feel like what he deserves and even more because he's super talented.
Right.
What was that experience like for you and just being able to literally have someone like our Hype Williams of Toronto on your resume?
Honestly, it was a blessing. Jordan's a great friend of mine and a great person to work with. I mean, his work ethic speaks for itself. So, I mean, we're both, when you're working with your friends, you can either be a hit or miss because we're friends before, we worked.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a great vibe. And we worked very well together because we both have great energy. We both have great work ethic. We both know how to make things happen. And that's the people that I like around me, people that know how to make things happen, because that's how I am, DIY queen, because we make shit happen. Do shit ourselves, but we have to, whatever we got to do. So it worked out amazing. I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
No, that's beautiful. And since you mentioned DIY, I'd love to know what is like one of the most creative things you feel like you've done DIY.
Well, me and my girl made that whole,
Oh no, the sound went out for a quick second. You said you and your girl.
yeah.
I missed
Oh, we
it.
made the outfit for my video for dancing. So just like
Hey!
clothes, yeah, literally. And I made this piece of furniture, this table. So that was pretty cool. I'm like into art, so I'm like mixing
I
art.
love it.
Yes, babe.
I love it. Let me find out you can make benches and all these things.
Yo, honestly, I love custom shit, and that's why I got into DIY, because you can add your own spin on. If you learn how to do shit, you can add your own spin on it. I
Oh,
love
that's
that. Put your letters. I love bling, so everything around me is bling, 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 bling. That's like my thing. So bling out everything. Good.
yeah. I loved it. Oh, that outfit was immaculate. Like you always, and I do
Thank
love that. I see you in things, but it's always like a slight difference or a difference to what other people have going on. Like you're definitely unique to you. So now knowing that it's really you, like, and your friends putting in the work and being like, no, we can make this more lit. That is
you.
amazing to know.
Girl, you have to just use what you got sometimes and just make it happen. Like, that's the whole point of DIY, right? Like, sometimes you're going to be fortunate enough to be, like, able to have the most blessed team around, the blessed team of creatives, but sometimes you're not going to be in that position. So you have to figure out how to do things and how to maneuver, how to move on feet. Girl, I be making my own wigs. I be making my own clothes. I be making my own, because I know what I envision, and it's like, okay, if I can't make this work in this time, then I'm gonna just make it happen.
And I feel like those are skills that are very important, like moving forward in the industry. To this day, you have so many models of
Right.
color and everyone like still talking about how like people in that would probably be in charge of doing makeup or wardrobe, they have like a lack of knowledge of like how our skin works or our hair works. So like it's very important, as we were speaking about earlier, but full circle, to know yourself, know your color palettes, all these things, because you can't have
It's,
nobody out there making you look crazy.
it's only better for you if you know, right? So that's kind of like, that's it comes into everything. It tunes back in. You have to just know yourself, learn about yourself daily, work on yourself daily. You know what I mean? And become the person that you want to be, like, ultimately.
Do you feel like you're becoming that person?
100% every single day, because I'm speaking it out. I'm working towards it. I'm doing things, that are helping me grow, which is so important. And just like structure. I never realized before when I was younger how important just structure is, and just being, organized. Like, as you become an adult, you realize how important it is. You got to take time to just, plan and use your time wisely, and prepare. So I'm really big on all those things.
Yes. One of my favorite books that I read last year. I'm not a reader, but it's something that I've definitely been trying to like bring more into my life, because I realize there's a lot of information in these books that, you don't necessarily, I don't know, you just receive it different than reading things on the internet and stuff like that all
For
the
sure.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay Shetty, he wrote a book, Think Like a Monk. And one of my favorite things that he spoke about in that book, because I'm a list girl, like I
Mm-hmm.
write a list for everything,
I love that.
right?
You're
And
organized.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
sometimes like it annoys people, but I'm like, we need to know what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
But we spoke about like, everyone, we write our to-do list. These are the things I gotta do, and we lay it out.
Right.
But he added another layer where it was like, after you write your to-do list, it's imperative to write your to-be list. So say for
I like that.
example, right? I was like, it just hit me so deep. And I was like, and I do it consistently up to this day. So in my planner for this week, of course, I had our interview. I have two other shows that I do. Plus, I have some other interviews scheduled and like some PR stuff that I have to do, right? And it's
Right.
just like, on my to be list, I literally have written down, I need to be consistent. I need to stay hydrated. I need to be um, I need to be supportive, because I am sometimes that friend that like, thank God for my real friends, because they understand that not hearing from me doesn't mean like I don't love them, but like
Right.
they'll be like, girl, I'm just checking in, haven't heard from you all week. So I like to remind myself now, like, you need to not only just have people messaging you, but message your friends and be like, how are you doing? Are you okay? Because those are people that, got your back, like when they're your
I
solid.
love those friendships though, that you can go like literally months without talking. I have friendships like that. But
Yeah.
like, it's all love. Everybody is in this, I don't, in this age where they're just like, that's around me at least, that's working on themselves.
They have
So
a
it's
lot
like
of things going on.
sometimes a little, like, it's not that we're not talking. It's just, shoot, girl, I was traveling, you was traveling, you
Yes.
working, I'm working. Like, it's actually a good thing.
Yes. And I find like those friends, 1000%, everything you said, they're so important, because they understand, like, they're busy. We're busy. So they get that
Yeah.
life, versus like people that are just kind of like stagnant. They take it as,
Right.
oh, big money now or this. And it's like,
Right. No, no,
no,
no.
it's not like that at all.
I never take
But
it like that.
yeah, so those are some of the things, that I share with you that I have on my to be list this week. I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but what are some of the things that maybe you put on your to-be list, maybe for this week or your week coming ahead, that you would maybe be mindful of? Because you know, doing all these things or we're getting our face beat and stuff, it wears at your skin. So I was like, I need to stay hydrated. Like I
Right.
need to drink drinking
That's a
water.
really good one. I was going to say, like, staying active. You know, I've been working out a lot and just like staying really consistent with that, as much as it flipping hurts sometimes. Just pushing through and really, really, really like locking in on that. Just reading more in general, reading more different kinds of things just for my mind. You know, things that can teach me things. You know, I've been doing this thing where I'm like studying music from everyone who's ever won a Grammy. So I'm literally,
I love that.
yeah, this was actually a challenge given to me by my friend Joel. And he was like, you need to study like everyone who's won these Grammys in the last, you know, 2-3 decades and see what, you know, what made them win this Grammy. Yeah. So I'm literally going from like 1960s, 70s, so till 2022 right now, you know. So I'm just staying consistent with that, eating better, you know, calling my dad more, and just just the littlest things, you know. I'm flipping random sometimes because I'm so focused on my music all the time. So I already know that that's like the number one thing, you know. Like I said, you can't have one foot in, one foot out. I already have both foot in. We're jumping jacks at this point, right? We're doing jumping jacks. So the other things I'm mentioning are just things outside of that, because those things play a factor too. Like you have to, like we were talking about before, like maintain your, you know, your self-growth and things like that, right? And just like your mental health is so super important. So things like that are going to help your mental health.
You're reading my mind, because that's exactly where we're diving into now, you know?
Yeah.
I'd love to know, self-care is something is very important to me, and I've learned to make that a very important part of my life through a lot of trauma, but I definitely know the importance of it now. What are some of the ways you would say, Kastilla, that you practice self-care in your life and you actually make time for you? I know you kind of hinted on it, but now I'm asking you like directly. No?
I'm not gonna lie, I always make time for self-care, because if I'm not right, then I can't perform right. I can't work in the studio right. I can't do, you know what I mean? Like I gotta always make sure I'm right, so I'm ready to work. So I'll be taking baths. Sometimes I binge watch my shows. Sometimes I, you know, a little bit of meditation, a little bit of yoga. You know, obviously working out, like I said before. I be having my teas and trying to finish them, because I used to waste tea a lot. Trying to finish my tea.
Yeah.
Little things, you know, I light candles sometimes. Just, you know, relaxing things, right?
I love that. I literally just said a couple of days ago to someone, I was like, literally being busy, if that includes me binge watching a show on Netflix, that's busy, because there's a reason why my body is like, nah, you need to chill. Let's just watch some TV. Let's take a nap. Like, I feel like before they used to like make it seem like it was a crime to like take a nap or go to sleep early and things like that. I'm like, nah, like I'm not trying to look 10 years younger than I need to be. Like, sleep is very important in my life. When things need to get done, of course, I'm going to be up. But like, if I could catch a nap, girl, I'm gonna catch that.
Girl,
nap.
I honestly, personally, never been a napper, and I used to feel so guilty going to bed early, or like I feel guilty when I do stuff. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm like, even now, like I wake up every day at like 8 a.m. I set my alarm. I get up every day. I don't even care if I don't have to like do nothing 8 a.m. I'm getting up because I just feel guilty.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I need my day. I need this whole day, sis. I need the whole day.
No, I feel like that too, but like every weekday I wake up at like 5 o'clock. So literally, when it took work. It took work. Like,
good for you. That's what I'm talking about.
But I like, when you start getting more into like those self-development books and stuff, a lot of them talk about just like waking up around those times, and how like literally you've done everything by like 8, 9 o'clock, and you really have the day, like it just like you're ready in your zone. Once you start growing towards that, you're gonna be like dangerous, seriously. But Monday to Friday is literally 5 a.m. So when it comes to like Saturday, Sunday, I try my best to like sleep in. Of course, it's 8, 9 o'clock, but for
it's really sleeping though. You get up at 5 a.m. So what's your sleep in?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it will be like probably 8, 9 o'clock
8?
in the
Okay, yeah. I
morning.
was gonna say, because your body's
Yeah,
probably so accustomed to waking
it
up
is.
at 5, you probably are the type that just wakes up now. Because
Yeah,
when you get
yeah.
accustomed, it's like the only time that ever works for me is when I know I have to get up, and my body will just wake up. Like I'll just like, because it's on your mind. When you have things on your mind, you can't really sleep, or at least I'm one of those people. Like I know I have to get up. I know I have to get up. I'll just get up
When I
before my
get it,
timer.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
No, I feel that hunger, and I relate like from the media perspective, but I relate in so many ways. And it's just like you have so many things going on in your mind. Sometimes you just like I literally have my sticky notes. I always have like a book with me, like everything,
So that's
something that I can
good.
quickly write down the ideas that are like flowing. So
That's
never
my notepad in my phone for me. I am literally like in my
that,
phone writing notes 24/7. That's my notepad.
I love that. And
Yeah.
don't stop doing that, because when you like sometimes, even though maybe we don't always get the time to look back at what we wrote down, when you
Right.
eventually do, you realize like subconsciously you were checking off things off that list
Yeah.
without even realizing.
And it's also manifestation in an extent in itself too, because depending on what you write down, but it's like, it's goals you're reaching and that you're manifesting to reach. Sometimes sometimes what I'm writing down. So I'll be like, music video Wednesday 7 p.m. and then it's like, oh, I get it done. I kind of like, I manifested that whole thing to happen, right? So
And that accountability, like it goes hand in hand with the consistency. And it's like
right.
nobody's gonna wake you up every day and be like, "Girl, you said you wanted to be a musician or an artist. You need to like put this out." No one's gonna do that for you. So it's like if you're not
No,
doing
they're
it for
not.
yourself,
Right.
yeah,
100%. No one's ever gonna push you like you push you, right? And that's something that I've learned throughout the years. So don't expect people to push you.
not at all.
So
Especially not the haters.
yeah,
So
especially.
I'd love to know, let's talk about one of your brands that you've also created from the ground up,
Yeah.
Baddie Boutique. Really proud of you for that. What inspired you starting Baddie Boutique? Even though I
Yeah.
feel like I have an idea, and you know, just
Baddie
getting
Boutique,
into
it kind of
another type of business.
it plays into what we've been talking about. Like, I wanted women to feel like their best confident self with not having to spend, what people would spend to usually feel good about themselves. That was like the goal of it, because growing up, I didn't come from, you know, that type of lifestyle. So I always just, like I said, I used to make clothes, or I just do little things, or I would thrift stuff and throw on, my brother's thing with my own thrifted thing and just make it work. So I wanted to find a way that, like, how can there be a way to feel sexy and confident and affordable? You know what I mean? So that's where it rooted from. And I wear everything on my own brand. Like, I would never not wear something that I put in my store, because I want people to literally know, like, this girl really be wearing her stuff too. It's not like how people manufacture things and then just like put their name on it and throw it out. Like some people do, right? I like
Exactly.
really, I really be wearing my stuff. Even in the new Bad video, that's all Baddie Boutique.
Yeah. Ooh, yes, yes,
I
yes.
like,
I'm gonna do some things this
I don't
week.
play.
And I do love that. So, in your experience, because I feel like e-commerce was something a lot of people tried to learn, or they dove into successfully, and I'm a bit of a nerd. So I'll ask you, what are maybe some of the good things or the things you won't do again that you've learned in your experience building Baddie Boutique?
You
That
never
you're,
like. Well,
yeah.
there's so many ways. So some of my pieces are custom and some of the pieces aren't, right? So I would say, um, know your audience and know your niche and know who you want to sell to, because that's gonna play a factor in so many things, right? If you're just getting a whole bunch of stuff or selling a whole bunch of stuff and you don't know your audience, that's, hey, me, I know I wear my stuff and how I represent myself, and we just talked about baddie and bad and what all these things mean. So I already kind of know my target in my head, because it's kind of like a confidence thing mixed with energy. Like I just know because I went through trial and error, right? So know your target audience, know your niche and what you want to sell, and just stick to something small and before going like crazy big.
Eat fruit and mind your business. 1000%. I love that. And once again, I hope people are taking in all this game that you're giving. And very smart woman, very smart woman. And I find, no, seriously, and it's like if people are taking in what you're saying, like you didn't start a cucumber smoothie business, you didn't start like all around when you look at Kastilla as a brand, everything that ties into, like if you look at it as a web diagram, it all intertwines you and what you're putting out there and how you want people to take your brand as you're like growing, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
so proud of you. Okay, so we're winding down to be near to the end, but I'd love to know who are some of your like top musical inspirations, and maybe let me know a little bit of why those are your musical inspirations.
Yeah, like I mean, I love Janet Jackson. I love I don't know if you want me to talk about current or if you want me to talk about like past. Because some of the ones I brought up from my childhood, like
I love me some old school and I love me some new school. So whatever you're feeling.
Yeah, I love, I love Drake. I love Janet Jackson. I love Mary J. Blige. I love Eve. I love Foxy Brown. I love Nas. I kind of have like an old soul, so I kind of lean towards older stuff rather than like so much new stuff. But for some new artists that like I listen to like right now, I love like Eric Bellinger. I love Seven Streeter. I love Summer Walker. Yeah, like I listen to SZA. Like I listen to a lot of new stuff too, but my roots come from the older influences. Yeah.
Yeah. I really love that. And I appreciated the fact, not that you're capping or anything, but that you also mentioned that, you are inspired by Drake. Because funny enough, when I interview people from like Toronto, they will not say his name. And I literally have to correct them and be like, listen to me. Moving forward, like, it's very imperative that you say these things. Because personally, I just feel like even with what I do, there wouldn't be a space or like it makes sense to the world if it weren't for like a lot of the doors that he busts down. Not to say that there weren't a lot of people, that came before him, part of like, the Canadian music history, but like clearly artists of the decade, he's gone the furthest, in my opinion, and
yeah.
if it wasn't like for him and their, entity and what they do, a lot of us couldn't even possibly get into the rooms maybe that we have been able to get into.
What I like about it, his infrastructure and just like business mind, like that's like, if you really look into his history of business, like he's really just done an amazing job of building like literally an empire, and that's where I'm on. You got to think longevity 10 years from now. You got to think, everyone always wants to think right now about themselves. So you have to think about team, where you see yourself, where you see the people around you, where you see your brand growing to, things like that. So I really respect that aspect. Obviously the music's dope, but like it's music business. Back to music business, not just music. So that's really why.
On some nerd shit, like I was even saying, because Top Boy is clearly a show that I love, and it just like premiered or dropped. And then I was looking at one of his albums, More Life, that just dropped. And when I was looking at the dates, it literally is the same date that it premiered. I'm like, this man is so smart. Like their team is so smart because
everything is strategic.
Everything is strategic. And I'm just like, people barely even want to get together a 30 to 45 day rollout, but they're wondering why their things are like going as far as they want to. And I'm just like, I don't know what else to tell y'all. Play back this interview and listen to Kastilla and all the fruit that she tasted. Like, I don't know what else to tell y'all.
No, let's just roll that out and just remember to know yourself. Because once you start to know yourself, then you're able to achieve the greatness and the potential that you really have.
Amen. Okay, so last thing I'll ask you about, I do see here that you literally said ambitions to be the female Drake. Okay, that's heavy. Like, to me, as someone that, like, I take his career so, like, like I study it, and I just love even the way I'm seeing, like you spoke about, he's diversifying, and it's not just about the music. We're seeing him dive into like TV and film and liquor
Yeah.
and Bitcoin and like crypto and all these things, you know? What does that mean to you, the female Drake? Like, it's like when Nicki Minaj was like, yo, Jay-Z has the blueprint, I have the pink print. Like, to me, that's a heavy, heavy statement.
Right. No, 100%. Well, first off, you have to work. So it's just like work ethic, right? So I mean, that just kind of explains it. I mean, if you want to get far ahead, you have to have the work ethic, not just the talent. The work ethic is one of the most key things too, you know?
I mean, amen to that. Um, I'd love to know before I let you go tonight, what are like one of the things you would say is the most like misconceived things about you that you would like to clarify for anyone who you feel like maybe hasn't really taken the time to like know you, like I've had the privilege of doing tonight,
Right.
or they see you and they just, like you spoke on earlier, they just think you're a pretty face. What is something like we're setting the record straight on tonight?
Yeah, like, I mean, don't sleep on the underdog. That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody feels like you have to do the most and be the most. Just be yourself. And I think that once people just see more about me, like, we'll get over, like, what we talked about before, the elephant in the room. Oh, she's just pretty. It's not just, oh, she's trying to, like, oh, she's trying to rap, oh, she's trying to sing. Like, no, I'm going to rap, and I'm going to sing, and you're going to see me work my way up, right? So, yeah, I think it's not really a misconception. It's just more like a thought that people have, right? Yeah.
I love that. It's like when I used to tell people I'm gonna be on TV, and like literally man would like laugh me out the room, and then 2 Tuesdays
Right.
saw me on TMZ. They're like, "Oh, bitch,
That's
you were right.
motivation.
I told y'all."
Right. You have to
Yeah.
use all of that as motivation. So all those little things that we spoke about today, touching bases on, is just all motivation. At the end of the day, I'm gonna keep working on myself and my shit and my goals, and that's it. Period.
No, I am so proud of you, Queen. I'm proud of the fact that I could dive so far back in your music or discography, and you have like really beautiful songs that I know moving forward, people are gonna fall in love with that and fall in love
Oh,
with
thank
what you
you.
have going on now. I love the messaging that you're carrying out there, and you're definitely way more than a pretty face. And I need people to really understand that about you. You're very smart and intelligent, and I love the confidence that you bring and you give me as well, you know. I'm on the media side, but it's very refreshing and it's inspiring to meet other females like you, especially from my city, to be like, okay, I'm not alone. There's people that do take it seriously and they're working just as hard. Shout outs to Queen Alicia. You know,
Love that.
she's another big sis go in the game that I'm just like, she's so inspiring and motivational. I
I love
want
that.
to ask you, no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you just have to have you have to, like we were talking about before, be supportive of other people and have, that mindset that you're gonna, be better and do better, right? So like always in the back of your head, be like, yeah, I'm gonna be better, I'm gonna do better, and the way I'm working towards that is also by showing people and being supportive of other people too, So I'm so happy that you said, oh my God, you made me feel, because that's like one of my goals. Now you're making one of my goals come true, because it's like, yeah, I want to make people feel, that way.
You did that, girl. There wasn't a point where I was like rolling my eyes, like, oh my gosh, here's another girl talking about she's rapping. Like, I really think
See,
you did.
no, that's the misconception right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. And I
I
think
got
being
shit
very
to say.
transparent, letting you
I'm
know.
gonna talk my shit.
No,
Yeah, well,
definitely, and keep
I'm
going.
happy
And
that
don't not stop. Do not stop ever, okay? I want to
yeah,
be looking next year, 5 years from now, and you're killing it. I'm gonna see you at the Grammys. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I know that girl. She's from
period.
Toronto. Literally. So that's you. I
Backstage
want
to
to.
the Kastilla World Tour.
Hey, let's
just now.
go.
With my
Let's
dancers and things.
go. Let's go. Let me find out. Skills all with the
Hey.
dance. I got stuffy. I'm not even gonna try. But I want to thank you so much, Queen, for tapping in with me tonight and not wasting any time
Thank
with
you.
me. And you definitely came and ate fruit and minded your business. if you could leave with any last words, or I'm going to let you close out tonight's interview. Also, let everyone know where they can follow you, support you, if you're open to collaborations, how you prefer to be hit up. Let everyone know all of that as well.
So I just want everyone to know to like never stop working on themselves, number one, because that's kind of like the message that we were giving off tonight. Never stop believing in yourself, never stop pushing yourself, never stop, you know, believing that your goals can come true, because you are the person that makes your stuff tick. So, you know, you have to be your own motivator and your own biggest fan always. Second off, if you guys want to see me live, I'm performing on the 31st at the Libertine. So pull up, grab your ticket, show out, support your girl. It's going to be a vibe. I'm going to be singing my new single, Bad. I'm going to be busting a couple moves or whatever. So yeah, and just stay consistent, stay blessed, and stay working on yourself. Period.
Guys, this has been my exclusive interview with Kastilla, Queen Kastilla, Queen Baddie of Toronto. Truly, thank you for your time. You have such a beautiful and genuine spirit. I'm wishing you nothing but growth and blessing and prosperity and wealth from here, Queen. I know this is not the last time. Mercy. Thank you
so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to interview me today. You've been nothing but such like good vibes and like good spirits, and I loved our conversation that we had.
Thank you. All right, you guys have a great night. You've had enough of Kastilla. Let her go practice her self-care and do her things. All right, everybody have a great night.
Okay, bye girl.
About to go downtown.